Tell us a little about your career as a medical examiner.
People think of the term medical examiner, they think I am examining dead people. But in reality, I'm not. So, as a partner at Quest Diagnostics, I am the liaison between the insurance companies, whether it's through AIG, Prudential, William Penn, all the major life insurance and disability insurance companies, and the client, in which that are applying for life insurance, disability insurance, or health insurance. And as a medical examiner, I'm simply there just to appraise the client to see if there's any type of medical issues, if they're taking, any type of prescription medication. And I am getting blood and urine samples and specimens needed for the insurance companies. So I represent Quest Diagnostics in that regard. And as a medical examiner, I'm just here just to appraise the individual client for their policy as well.
Can you explain your perspective on rejection?
When I think of rejection, I think of another opportunity gained, not lost. So when I was applying for jobs, whether it's at JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, I was applying to BCG, I was applying to Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Airbnb. I was getting referrals as well, internal referrals from current employees at the time, and I was still getting rejected. And I was getting rejected not only through those type of firms, but I was rejected. I was getting rejected from Harvard. I was getting rejected from Yale and NYU, and I was not only getting rejected from those institutions, but volunteering organizations, and it was hard for me to find a job. But I told myself, if I continuously, push on, fail forward, and also gain the opportunity from the losses that I've occurred, I'll be able to talk about it in the future and be comfortable to share my story, to share my insight, and help others share their story as well. And this is the concept of the rejection resume.
What is a rejection resume?
Rejection resume is basically a document that highlights your lowlights. So when we think of our resume, we thinking of our highlights, our accomplishments, what we have accomplished in the past, all of the accolades that we have accumulated in our career. However, the rejection resume is the opposite. It's a contrast where it talks about the obstacles that you have to endure to get to your point to where you're at right now. And oftentimes we tend to use our resume to get a job traditionally, but we can also use our rejection resume to get opportunities for a job in the future as well. And when I look at rejection, I look at it as another way to obtain the opportunities needed for us to move forward with our careers and our endeavors.
Why don't more people see rejection the way you do?
Because they don't want to talk about it. Most people don't want to talk about their rejection. Who wants to talk about how they failed on their way to on their path to success? And when we look at social media, and we always look at the highlights, how people have accomplished things, their accolades, everything that they have achieved. However, they don't really talk about their failures or the things that they failed at. And if they do, sometimes some people are adamant and they're hesitant to share their failures. And then you have others that do share their failures and they end up going viral and they end up obtaining the opportunities from that point. So most people don't really like to dwell on their failures. We are taught to say, you know what, just don't worry about the negative. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about what happened to us that negatively affected us in the past. Just think positive, keep moving forward. We always hear that all the time. I always believe in taking a step back, taking that introspective process to reflect on our failures and also take one or two lessons from those rejection and those letters and then move forward from there. So I think it was perfect as far as the book itself, the perfect rejection resume. There is nothing about rejection that is perfect. However, it is perfectly a fit for your story. It's a perfect fit for your story. And I always think about moving forward through the rejection process and through failure. And I think it's the best way to craft our story.
What's the most interesting part of your work?
Oh my gosh. I mean, as far as the traffic, the parking, I'm in New York City, by the way. So New York City is it's very rich and it's always moving, it's constantly moving. And when I look at the parking, the traffic, that's the stressful part of the job. However, I get a chance to meet a ton of people, millionaires, authors, scientists, computer scientists, astronauts, doctors. I see a variety of houses, apartments, condos, because I'm actually in my clients' houses, and it's more so it's convenient for them because they don't have to go to the lab itself, but I come to them and they technically have a mobile phlebotomist, so a mobile partner there with them taking their urine samples and blood work and all that stuff. It's just providing that comfort. And as a medical examiner and as a partner, I examine on Quest Diagnostics, we think of like urine, blood work, saliva as, it's people cringe. People are very, very, they are sensitive to those type of specimen. But I look forward to collecting those specimens, having a conversation, networking as well. That's another thing here. I have so many opportunities to network with people that I may not have to network, that I never thought I would network. I think last week I networked with another author who was doing pretty much the same thing. But she was just applying for life insurance. And here I am. I'm just the partner at Quest and a medical examiner that is basically there to talk with them. So it's another opportunity for me to talk to them, see new things, travel around the city, see what's new, see what's interesting, and also understand the cultures, the various all the cultures within the city as well. So I enjoy becoming a medical examiner and being that liaison between the client and the insurance companies as well. And it's also unfortunate as well because when I hear the clients say, "Man, I wish my doctor, my personal doctor, can come out here," rather than me going out there to the doctor and wait so long. And I always joke around that, in my capacity, the clients are considered clients, but in a medical capacity, the clients are considered patients because they have to wait for so long. And in this case, they don't have to wait, and they have direct line contact with me, as far as when I'm on my way, when their specimens are heading to the lab. I give them instructions as far as obtaining their results. So it's more so of it's an intimate type of setting where I can interact with the patient as well and a client. But at the same time, I can also network as well. Have opportunities for me to network and obtain those type of leads that can lead to future opportunities beyond just the scope of my work.
What one key thing would you like to share about what you do?
One key thing that I would like for the medical people that I want them to understand that there is more than one way to obtain a perfect lifestyle as a professional. You don't have to be in a clinical setting. You don't have to be at a lab somewhere. You can also travel as well. You can also travel, and you still get the same as far as the payment go. I'm pretty sure most of us don't really like to spend too much time worried about payment and the amount, the salary, but it's pretty much the same rates that we get. So that's something that we don't have to worry about. However, is being comfortable in various environments, whether it's within a mansion or whether it's in a home where we have a bunch of kids running around, pets all over the place. It's just you have to be open-minded into meeting various people in terms of their environment rather than having them to come to our environment as well. So I think just being open-minded and having that the welcoming spirit to talk to people, and see how they feel every day and understand their pain beyond just the physical pain that they're dealing with and the mental pain as well. Just having that conversation and becoming that personal friend, that professional friend, it helps, and it helps a long way when you're looking for other opportunities in the future as well.